Hello everyone, welcome to episode 11 of Ask Giri the Physio Show. Today's topic is skiing injuries, prevention and recovery strategies. It's a ski season, isn't it? Even though we have some warm weather in Edmonton, Alberta right now, people are itching to go to the mountains to get some skiing done. So we're going to talk about what are the common injuries and what are the things we can do to prevent this, and then what are the exercises you can do to work on it, and also some of the recovery strategies. That's what we're going to discuss today. Let's jump right into it. Alpine skiing or downhill skiing is one of the sports which will get a lot of injuries, especially to the lower body and the shoulders and the thumb. So, but from 1970s, the evidence is saying that skiing injuries are reducing, especially in the lower leg, especially ankle and stuff like that, because of the good binding technology and kind of innovation in binding mechanisms, and also the evolution of skis compared to what we used to have before. So now, what are the common areas or the muscles we use quite a bit in skiing? This picture depicts you all the different muscles what we are using. If you see, starting from number one, which is the calves, the calf muscles under a lot of strain because your leg is always positioned forward. It has to work very consistently. And your obliques on the sides, it keeps your lower body and the core alignment properly. And then you can see your biceps and triceps and lats. If you have to do a lot of pulling and going uphill or a lot of pulling maneuvers you have to do, your triceps, biceps and latissimus dorsi has to work quite a bit. Then we have your the glutes. The lower leg muscles are very, very important in skiing, especially your glutes, hamstrings, and they always maintain your squatting position and maintaining your body just because you're going forward all the time. And also the quadriceps, constant work in quadriceps because you're maintaining that squat position all the time when you're skiing. So your glutes, hamstring and quads is very, very important. And your inner thigh muscles, because you wanted to keep your skis in all the time. So inner thigh, especially the adductor longus muscle, which is constantly working to keep your skis in. So these are, and also your core, don't forget your core muscles. That's what stabilizes everything. So these are some of the key muscles which works a lot when you ski. So according to the American Ski Association, the 8 primary muscles they talk about for skiing is your adductor longus, which is your inner thigh muscle, your quadriceps and your hamstrings, your gluteus maximus, which is your butt muscle, gluteus medius, which is on the side, the hip stabilizer muscles, and the peroneus longus, which is on the side of the lower leg. That muscle is very important. So these are the key muscles of skiing. You should be in a good firing pattern, and good strength and endurance of these muscles will really help you to ski well. So yes, skiing is our love, and sometimes our love hurts, right? So these are the common injuries we see, starting from the head. Concussions, very common, only like 2 to 3% there, and then 8 to 9% the shoulder injuries. You can have dislocations, rotator cuff injuries, but if you see, the biggest percentage there is your knee injuries, 33%. That can, like from ACL, anterior cruciate ligament or medial collateral ligament, or the combination of both, along with the meniscus. Sometimes you get the triad injury. So these are the very common ones. Even though the binding mechanisms, the innovation stop a lot of lower leg injuries like ankle and shins, but it doesn't stop the knee injuries that much, because that is exposed quite a bit for injuries. We're going to talk about what are the reasons for that. And about 6 to 7% your ulnar collateral ligament in your thumb, which is in here, that happens injured because of the pole injuries. I will talk about why and how can we prevent it. And also the other 7%, the leg injuries. You can have a fracture in your tibia, which is your lower leg bone, and other fractures and contusions in the legs can happen as well. So this kind of gives you an idea what are the different areas can get affected. And also don't forget the concussions as well, with or without the helmet, but we recommend helmets always. That's common sense, isn't it? So what are the common injuries? And with the knee, ACL injury, anterior cruciate ligament injury is very, very common, especially in adolescents. Shoulder dislocations and rotator cuff injury, especially it happens like how you are falling on the outstretched arm. That's a very important thing. And also the awkward falling of the shoulder, with your skis on, that's very important as well. Thumb, the ulnar collateral ligament. You can see the picture there to see the anatomy of the ligament, where it is, right? So its main reason is this poling, right? People fall with their poles in the hand. So I'm just going to grab my pole here. So when you're skiing like this, I don't usually put my strap on, because sometimes if its strap is not detachable, it causes a lot of injuries because the pole will be still sticking to your hand. So I prefer to ski like this, but if you're wearing strap, make sure it's detachable. That's very important. And then falling like this, right? If you're falling like this with your pole in your hand, the force coming and hitting that's going to strain the ligament, which is right here. It's called ulnar collateral ligament. That's a very common injury in the thumb, and that's called skier's thumb or gamekeeper's thumb. Okay, and head injuries are common, and also the spinal cord injuries or spinal injuries can be a fracture, dislocation, facet joint injuries, and very severe injuries can also lead to spinal cord injuries. I have worked with para-Olympic athlete in my practice. Kimberly, her name, she has won some Olympic medals as well. She's a para-Olympic skier, and I know, like, even after paraplegia, how she wanted to go back and start sit skiing, and what are the injuries we dealt with and we treated, and we made sure that she's on the slopes again. So that experience is very, very good for both of us working with the para-Olympic skier. ACL injury mechanisms. What are the common reasons why in skiing the ACL, the anterior collateral ligament, gets injured? There are mainly three reasons. A couple of reasons I already listed out in the slide here, and I'm going to keep the slide a little bit longer because I got a feedback from one of the viewers saying I'm changing the slides a little bit faster. Maybe I should keep the slides a little bit longer for you guys to read and understand the slides. That's something I got the feedback. I'm going to work on it, and please bring the feedbacks to me so that I can keep working and improve my presentation for you guys, so that you can enjoy it and make maximum use of it. So phantom foot. That's one of the mechanisms very, very often happens, especially when you're falling and you're going down. When you go downhill, you're going down, and one ski go up like this, the other ski is down, facing downward like this, as you see in the picture, and you're almost sitting down. Your hips are very much flexed, knees totally flexed, and with the totally flexed knee, the tibia rotates internally. Right, so you see the picture there, especially watch that leg, the first picture, watch that leg which is downhill and where the ski is like this, right? You see the extreme flexion of the knee with the internal rotation of the tibia, which is your lower leg bone, that really causes damage to that ligament. That's a main mechanism of ACL injury. It's called as phantom foot mechanism. The second slide, the black and white slide you see, the another mechanism is, we call it valgus with external rotation. That means your knee goes out and then rotates out there. So that mechanism causes quite a bit of stress to the anterior cruciate ligament and causes tear or strain on that ligament. When you really a pro skier, you're going to go down the skill in a really fast pace, and this kind of slips definitely has a lot of force going into that ligament, and that's why the tear is very common in that ACL in your knee. Sometimes ACL cannot go alone. ACL can go with, as I talked to you before, medial collateral ligament, which is on the inner side of the knee, and the medial meniscus. That's called the triad injury. So all three can go at the same time as well. So this is the most common mechanisms. There's also another mechanism here where you kind of go down hard on your ski boots into the snow, and your tibia or lower leg is moving forward. That also another mechanism we call anterior drawer mechanism. So that also causes ACL injuries quite a bit. So these are three common mechanisms. So what we can do to prevent, right? So we already talked about head injuries, shoulder injuries, falling like this, and also the skier's thumb injury by falling with the pole, and we talked about ACL, what are the mechanisms, and also the fractures in the legs, also common. So how we can prevent these injuries? It happens in two levels, at the individual level, at the community level, or the industry level, right? Individually, as a personal responsibility, what are the things we can do to prevent ski injuries? No, we have to use appropriate equipment. That's very important, right? We got to get fitted properly and then use the appropriate equipment, whether it's be your skis or poles or your helmets. It has to be fitting very, very right. That's very important. And also techniques, poling techniques, right? So how much are you using your poles when you're skiing? Are you using every turn? Are you using occasionally? And also remember, when you fall, you have to let the pole go. Falling with the pole on, it's the main reason for that thumb injury we talked about. right? So these are some of the points you can read about individual level responsibility to prevent skiing injuries. And I told you before, the restraints, if you're using wrist restraints, make sure it's detachable. So that prevents a lot of injuries as well. So then skiing, knowing your strengths in the ski hill is very important. You got to ski according to how much you can control and how much skill sets you have. For me, I learned skiing when I was 30, so it was not easy. I'll tell you about it because, I fell I fell quite a bit on my bum, and a lot of my friends gave up. I still kept going. My skill level right now, I can go on easy blues. That's it. I do not push myself to a black or black diamond. No, because I know my skill level. I choose my runs. So I enjoy my greens and easy blues, and that's all. Then I come home because I need to go to work on Monday morning. I can't afford to be on crutches on Monday morning. So you know your skill level and you stick to your runs based on your skill level. That's very, very important, because the number one factor for skiing injuries is skier experience. That's research evidence. So depends on your experience, you take the risk and you work according to your skill set. So fatigue is another factor. So if you're tired, if you run 10 runs and if you're tired, just call it a day. Don't go for that 11th run. When you're really tired and fatigued, that's when the motor control, the reaction time, your strength, endurance, agility, stability, everything is compromised. Then you're very prone for injuries. So when you want to call it off, call it off. Don't push it. That's another thing I want to talk to you guys about. Then the pre-season conditioning regimen. So get ski fit. How do you do that? Get your conditioning regimen. Our body, it's just we coming off the summer sports, summer activities. During the COVID times, we didn't do a lot of things, but our body is still kind of rusty a bit. We make sure that it's ready for skiing to hit the skills, right? So what are the things we do? So we're going to talk in detail about how we can prepare your body for the preconditioning regimen, especially focusing on your spine and the legs and your agility and stability drills. Come on, move. Yeah. Now, those are the individual level responsibilities. Now, when it comes to community level or ski industry level responsibilities, what are the things we can do or they can do, especially the development of bindings? It's very, very important. There's so much research into it. We can just talk about bindings one full episode, but that's not our priority right now. And also having a good binding, getting a professional to do your bindings properly, which definitely reduces the incidence of knee issues and the knee injuries in the skiing position there. And also the ski shops and ski rentals, their staffs have been very well trained to kind of fit your binding properly. We have some wonderful ski shops in Edmonton and also in our mountains in Jasper and Banff, very highly skilled professionals who can help you to properly fit your bindings to fit your needs and skill sets. And also efficacy of the ski helmets. I have my buddy here wearing my helmet right here. You see that, wearing proper helmets and proper fitting straps, and it's very important for preventing head injuries, right? Educational programs that teach the mechanisms of various injuries like this. People should understand, every skier should understand what are the mechanisms and how to avoid that in the ski hill and how to prepare your body. That's very important. And school programs for the kids, because kids love skiing, right? And just educating them about that Alpine Responsibility Code, what are the safe methods to ski and everything, this is very helpful to prevent injury. And also our ski resorts must be designed very well, keeping injury prevention in mind. That's very important. And they make sure that runs are not heavily crowded and also discourage very high speed cruising. We always have Supermans and Superwomens on the roads and the ski hills. They think they are very injury prone and they can go down in high speed. They can cause some damage to themselves and also to others. So that has to be kind of educated and avoided in the ski hills as much as possible. And the obstacles should be clearly marked and padded, and whichever ski hills are doing very good job on that. Most of the times I've seen very good markings, and also the foam pads around the corners and the obstacles, I've seen that. So that's a great thing to do, prevent injuries as well. Now, when jumping into the exercise area, for the leg strength, right? What are the things? Oh, before that, I think I skipped a slide. There you go. Pre-season conditioning program. So what are the areas we need to focus on that, right? Definitely your leg strength and the core strength is very important. Stability training, power training, and agility training. That's very, very important. So we're going to talk about some exercises to train you or to help you at home or in the gym to kind of how you can prepare yourself to hit the ski hills. Let's start with the leg strength first. Squats, very important because you are skiing mostly in the squatting position actually. So just talking about air squat means gentle squat, just keeping the legs forward. Now if you want to keep your hands here, you can keep it, or by the sides, whatever you would like. Just having a really nice squat, nice and gentle. Make sure your knees going over your toes and knees are not caving in or caving out. Nice and gentle squats just to warm up. Whatever speed you want, quality over quantity, and try not to bring your trunk too much forward when you're squatting. Try to keep up as much as you can with a mild forward bending is fine. That's your air squats. And reverse bossy squats, I'm just going to grab my bossy here. Okay, this is for a little bit higher level, and but be careful when you're getting onto this. Again, these exercises are for the people with no injuries, right? And if you're injured in any way, you have to consult your physiotherapist first, get assessed and do appropriate exercises. These exercises used for conditioning for the people with no injuries, okay? It depends on your skill level. You can use it safely. If you're not comfortable, please do not do it, and consult a healthcare professional to help with the exercises. A physiotherapist or a kinesiologist or your personal trainer in the gyms, and you can check with them as well. So you just go on it. I usually keep it in the middle. I try to get up there and then balance myself in there and then go same thing. I'll try to do the squat on top of the basu. So this is your reverse basu squats, right? You can start with that first. And there's a lot of progressions to it. I'm not going into the progression that much, so we can do that. So that's your reverse basu squats. Then we talked about the deep squats. Basically, deep squat is one of the really good exercise for your hip, knee, ankle health. And I always advise my patients to do at least 10 deep squats a day for the health of your lower limb joints, right? Because of we are always sitting on the chair, and even in the potty we sit at 90-90, we don't go for deep squat. And that's why deep squat is very important for your health, hip, knee, ankle joint health, and also for defecation as well. So for deep squat, you can keep your hands by the sides or forward wherever you want, and want to go all the way down and then up as much as you can, all the way down and then up. Okay, you can practice some deep squat to get the strength there. And squat with loading. There's different ways you can load your squats. You can use your barbell, you can use your kettlebell, you can use your dumbbells, and I'm just going to show you loading your squat with kettlebell. So I'm just going to grab a small kettlebell here to show you. I'm going to do maybe a goblet squat, right? So keeping the kettlebell in the middle and loading my squat patterns all the way down and then up, right? So that's one way to load. As I said, you can load through different ways in squat loading. Then clean squat to press. That's one of the favorite exercise. I'm going to use the kettlebell again for the clean squat to press. So basically what you're doing, starting position, squat, press, squat, press, squat to press, right? So that's your clean squat to press. And loop exercises. You can do quite a bit of exercises with the loop. You can put it around your feet. Okay. Then, because putting the loop around the feet works your gluteus medius more than putting it around the leg. That's a research evidence actually. So you can do basically, you can do side stepping. Working on that, keeping a nice knee flexion posture. Work on those. That's a great loop exercises to work on your gluteus medius. As I told you, gluteus medius was one of the prime mover in skiing. Very important muscle for the hip stability. Only if your hips are stable, your knees can stay in place when you're skiing. If your hips are not stable, knees are going to be doing the dancing there, which you don't want when you're skiing. And also, I call it this monster walk. This one, we are going again into the ski position here, right? You can keep it there, and then you can do a little bit of a okay. So that's one thing. The other way also you can do is monster walk, right? You can work on that. Again, that's for your glutes as well, and your leg strength and stability as well. So we saw some strengthening exercises. Now we're going to get into the power building. Power how to develop your power building or power control into the skiing positions there. Jump is one of the really good thing for your lower leg power. So we're going to do some different variations of that. First we'll talk about jump squats. So we're going to start from here using your upper body, because your upper body, it kind of constitutes about 11% for your jump. So you kind of use your one. So come jump squat, let's go. Okay, that's your jump squats there, you can work on it. And the next, we'll do lateral box or the basu jumps. So I'm just using my stool here. You can go. That's your lateral box jumps, and also you can do the basu ball also if you want to. Next thing is lateral shuffle with chops. This one, and you can start without the chops first, add the chops later. Basically, lateral shuffles, we're going to start from here, right? Lateral hops, you can start with that. We can add the lateral shuffle with the chop if you want. For example, here. So that's your lateral shuffle with chop. So we did the lateral hops. Now we're going to talk about forward jumps. Again, we did the jump squat. This is like, right? If you want to add the backward jump, you can. Okay, forward jumps, you can practice that. Then rotational jumps. You can also do 180 degree, starting from here. (180 degree rotation jumps), and also you can do 60 degrees too, like this. So that's your rotational jumps as well. You can use rotational jumps with the battle rope too. So battle ropes, this is played quite heavy on this one. We can do different ways. Okay, so good stability, kind of a posture, the knee and things like that, then go. That's one way of doing the battle rope. And also if you want to include the rotational jump with it, it's hard, you go with it like that. So we saw some of the power moves. There is tons of other things you can do as well. I selected like, top 4 or 5 ski related power drills. Now we are going into the core drills. Again, ski mechanics or biomechanics related core drills we're going to do. As you know, there's thousands of core exercises, but I selected, as I said, based on ski biomechanics. The first one is core press reverse lunge. Your core works whenever you resist any rotation movements or extension movements. Anytime you kind of resist that movement, your core works. For example, I'm standing here, I'm just using a tubing here. Okay, I'm bringing it up forward. Now I'm resisting the rotation because the tube is pulling me that way. I'm resisting the rotation. This is a core activation exercise, right? And you can do this. This is very, very interesting one. You can have a lot of variations as well. So this is my starting position. So this is, we call it core press. We do core press and then incorporate that with a reverse lunge, right? Come back. Maintain this anti-rotation strategy. It's not easy. And work on that. This is core press reverse lunge. Okay, next we're going to talk about physio ball single leg bridge exercise for the core, right? So this one basically, lie down nice and comfortably, put your one foot or one leg on the physio ball, then try to bridge first and then try to straighten that other leg and then hold it for maybe 10 seconds, then bring it down slowly and lower down your bridge, okay? And this is, then you do 10 on one side, then you can do 10 on the other side. So that's your one leg physio ball bridge and lift. Okay, now we're going to do some plank progressions. So you can do, just starting with a regular plank, your forward plank, right? Starting with that, and you can do so many progressions to it. You can just come up, go down. That's one progression. You can do alternate shoulder taps, right? You can do that. Or you can do leg lifts or going out. There are so many plank progressions you can do. Whatever you're comfortable, you can do that. You can hold it. You can go for 30 seconds to a minute. It's up to your ability. And stay safe. And if you have pain, you have to consult your healthcare practitioner. Don't do and aggravate your pain, right? Next, we're going to talk about kettlebell drills. So, you can do, this is one of my favorite equipment actually, the kettlebell. You can do whole ton of drills for skiing related. I love this. Kettlebell swings, right? Swings, you can do your carries, overhead carries, or you can do your farmer's carry and walk, nice posture, right? Or you can also do combination of side carry and overhead carry, right? You can do this also. Then you can switch. And there are so many kettlebell drills you can do. Lift, pull, push, carry. It's very important for your core and the power. Next, Indian club drills. This is your Indian club, the oldest exercise equipment. You can do quite a bit of drills in this. I'm going to actually grab another one. So I have two Indian clubs here. You can do quite a bit of that. So I'll start with this, come up like this, right? Go. Kind of energy storage and release. Okay, that's one. And then if you want to use your hip hinge, which you use quite a bit in skiing as well, you can start from here, using your hip hinge. Those are some of the couple of exercises you can do with the Indian club. Okay, now we are getting into the stability and agility drills. Again, there is tons of stability agility drills you can do, but I specifically selected few for skiing biomechanics. Single leg exercise is very important for the hip knee ankle stability. First of all, you should be able to stand single leg with no problem. That's very important. And then once you can do this, you can practice a little bit of a single leg squats to get it going on both sides. That's a very important thing for the stability. Next, I'm going to show you single leg deadlifts. That's the important thing. So first get your stability nicely, and then let's go for the single leg deadlift. Right? So you can do this on both sides, 10 on each side. That is good. And also the tees. The tees you can do without the kettlebell, just to get some of the hip hinge and stability also. So you're going to start from single leg, then we can go for the tees. Right there, maintain, that's your tee. Then bring it back nice and slow using the hip hinge. Then you can do on the other side. My right leg will be a little bit wobbly because I torn my MCL last summer playing volleyball on a wet field. That's so stupid of me. But anyway, next one is balance pad exercises. So you can use the balance pad to challenge your stability and the balance. You can first try to stay kind of closed feet with eyes open, then eyes closed. Then you can also do single leg activities on that, forward, backward, sideways, and then back, forward, backward, sideways, and back. You can work on this. There's tons of exercises you can do on the balance pad. And also the dynamic lunges. I will go to the Y balance after the dynamic lunges. You can use a kettlebell, or you can use without the kettlebell also. You can start without the kettlebell. First, your dynamic lunges, back, that's your forward dynamic lunges. You can do the same thing reverse also. So Y balance exercises at the clinical setup, we use this device from functional movement screen. It's called YBT, Y balance test, or you can also use this to screen your motor control and also use it as an exercise tool as well. For example, you're here, if you want to do the motor control screen for forward flexion or the anterior reach, you go like that and you kind of see how far you can go with your right, then come back without losing your balance. That's about 42 inches. Now you can try the same thing with your left, right, to screen this. I'm just touching the screen, I'm 44 there. So it's a difference of 2 inches, it's not too bad. You don't want the difference more than 4 inches. That's kind of a screening we do for motor control as well. But for exercises, for example, the stabilizing leg is the working leg. This is the working leg right now and this is a moving leg, just a feather touch. You can go as much as you can, come back with stable, then you can go as much as you can. The posterolateral reach, come back, and then you can go as much as you can here, come back. Okay, you can do that on both sides, you can do multiple times. If you're doing at the home setup, you don't need this fancy piece of equipment. You can just do it just on the ground, right? First maintain your single leg stance properly, then imagine you are standing in the middle of the clock. You can work on the clocks, right? So you can start with 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you can switch legs like that. You can do on both sides. So you can do that's a controlled Y balance exercises you can do just on the floor. Then you can do the same thing on the foam as well to challenge yourselves more. So these are some of the stability and agility drills you can do to improve your skiing performance as a preconditioning program, and also some of the exercises we do as the recovery stages also. After you get injured in the later stages of rehab, we do some of the exercises as well. So once we finished working on your strength for the leg and the core, power, agility and stability drills, you're taking your body to a level that it's ready for the ski, right? And the ski season, that's very important. So all your internal factors has been taken care of. The external factors is your ski hill and your equipments and everything. Make sure that's proper as well. So what if you get injured on the ski hill? If you injured your knee or the shoulder, or you had a concussion, or you strained your thumb, basically don't wait. Get it assessed right away by a physiotherapist or a healthcare practitioner, and then take appropriate treatments. No point in waiting and then trying to push it and become chronically painful, right? That's very important. And recovery can be different. If it's a conservative management for any injuries like shoulder injuries or knee injuries, you're going to be seeing a physiotherapist 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and you'll be done. You'll have your strengthening protocol. You can hit the ski hill again. If your injury needs surgery, it's going to be a little bit longer, because if you tear your ACL, and first of all, we have to diagnose that you torn your ACL completely. Then we have to figure out you are a candidate for the surgery or not. And then you have to make an appointment with your orthopedic surgeon, and that you might have some waiting period where you have to keep it ready, prehab your knee for the surgery. Then you have surgery. Then you have to go to a post-operative rehab protocol. For ACL, it's a long way, right? It's about 12 to 16 weeks protocol. Then you do sport-specific training to get you back onto the ski hill again. It's a little longer process, but if we have to do it, we have to do it, right? So that is good. There's going to be the recovery process like that. So I want to share a small information or kind of tip about recovery. How our famous Lindsey Vonn, an American World Cup winner, what kind of injuries she had and what is her recovery looks like. Just give you an idea of recovery, right? She had a very major trauma and she fractured her tibial plateau, which is the lower leg. She torn her ACL, she torn her MCL, and she had also meniscus injury. She had a very traumatic injury there. And then she had surgery. They had the ACL graft done for her, and her recovery, and you can see how much time and what are the things she has done for recovery throughout the course of time, right? She has spent almost 275 hours in the physical therapy retraining and the rehab program. And she has done more than 9,740 squats and 5,900 quad sets and almost 112 core workouts, and spent about 30 hours in just swimming alone. and then her icing time, because when we put stress to the knee, sometimes it swells up, and then we have to ice it. She has iced almost 22% of her workout times, and she has iced it in her knee. So this is kind of a sample information about how much work is needed if you're going to go into that kind of a competition level at World Cup level, what kind of workouts you have to do after your surgery. But for a recreational ski athlete, if you get injured, you may not have to work out in that fashion. You're not competing, but you still have to do your workouts to get back onto a ski hill and also ski safely. That's very important as well. The main tips is, first of all, get screened for your ski readiness. Don't just get off the couch and then go for skiing, right? Make sure your body is ready for skiing. How do you do that? Consult your physiotherapist. You can do your movement screen, be using a functional movement screen or any other movement screens. And also there's something called fundamental capacity screen we do in the clinics as well. We call it FCS trained physiotherapists like me. We check movement control, postural control, impact control, and explosive control. So those are the different controls. There is a way to screen and check where you're at and improve, how to improve with exercises. Those are important not only for skiing, for other sport activities as well. That's what we do with our athletes for the return to sports and also sports training and the performance training. We work with your personal trainers, your physicians, your surgeons, and the kinesiologists and the other healthcare practitioners as a team to get you back to where you want to be. So check your readiness before you hit this ski hill, and make sure you get screened properly, and not only your movements, also your controls, as I talked about, right? Oh, sorry, I skipped. Okay, we have a question from our audience. Actually, Anu is not here. She moved to Toronto. So the question we got from Donna is, she asked me, what are your top 3 exercises for skiing, for ski conditioning, right? Just my pick, I just say just my favorite, but you can pick anything you want. My favorites are your goblet squat. I already showed you that with the kettlebell in the middle, and you can take the kettlebell whatever you're comfortable with, and at least we recommend at least more than 50-60% of your body weight. That's better. And holding in the middle and going for a squat, right? The goblet squat, make sure the knees are in, not going out quite a bit, and nice and stable, as deep as you can go. That's one of my favorite. And the lateral hops, we talked about it, just staying there and then hopping laterally, right? Lateral hops. That's important. That's good for the skiing as well. That includes the skiing mechanisms. And single leg deadlift. And we showed that, so doing single leg and then doing your deadlifts in single leg on both sides. And for example, if you say you do about 2 to 3 sets of 10 on the goblet squats, and lateral hops, you can do like, a set of 6 or 8 or 12, whatever you want. Or you can go for even timed actually. You can do how many lateral hops you can do in 30 seconds or a minute. You can do timed also. And single leg deadlifts, you can do either reps or timed, whatever you want, with a comfortable weight and being safe. Because I would not do a single leg deadlift if I can't stand in single leg and balance myself and able to do a little bit of a shallow squat without losing my stability. If I can't do this, I will not recommend you do single leg deadlift. So those are my top 3 exercises for ski conditioning, Donna. And next thing is, we wish you a very happy skiing season from me and from my production team of Ask Giri, the Physio Show, and from all our clinics, Insta Physical Therapy and affiliated clinics all in and around the town. And if you want to ski, if you think your body is not ready, give us a shout to your physiotherapist and get yourself a good conditioning program before you hit the ski hill. If you get injured in the ski hill, do not wait. Call and go see your physiotherapist and get it treated right away, and for a better ski season. Okay. So if you like this episode, please share it with your friends, your ski friends and non-ski friends, and subscribe for our show in Facebook or YouTube, and also follow us. If you have any questions, you can email me at giri@physioshow.ca. And if you want any topics you want me to discuss in this program, you can send me those topics as well. We can discuss that topic. And also, if you want to watch our previous episodes, if you missed any episodes, all our episodes are listed in physioshow.ca. You can go to our website and you can watch our episodes as well. Until I see you next time this month, bye for everyone. Have a great week.